Hello, everybody. This is Mr. Shaw, and this week's art lesson is going to be about one of my favorite styles of art. It's a period of art called Futurism. And Futurism is a style of art that tries to capture the energy of motion and the energy of life and change and excitement. So we're going to learn a little bit about this movement and how it got started in the early 1900s. And then I'm going to show you some really cool tricks that you can use to draw things in motion on your paper. So, Futurism was a style of art that became popular in the early 1900s, a little over 100 years ago. During that time, the world was changing quickly. New technology like electricity and telephones began appearing everywhere. People were driving cars instead of riding horses. Life was changing, and it was changing fast. The artists who considered themselves futurists wanted to find a way to express how quickly life seems to fly by and how things seem to change all the time. The first painting we're going to look at is a painting called Dynamism of a Dog on a Leash by Giacomo Balla. Now, this artist was trying to capture a dog being walked by its owner on a leash. And there are some really interesting things that we see happening here. Take a look at this picture. Does the dog look like it's staying still, or does it look like it's moving very quickly? Yeah, he looks like he's running. It looks like his ears are wagging, his tail is wagging. That dog seems to be moving kind of quickly, scurrying his little legs down there under him. Now, what the artist did to make that appear like the dog is moving, if you look closely, it's almost as if he had painted the dog's legs many, many times. Now, we know that dogs usually have four legs, and if that dog was standing still, we would only see four legs underneath it. But the appearance of those legs looks like there's many, many legs and many, many tails kind of flapping back and forth. Look around the picture and see what else might be moving quickly. Did you notice the chain of the leash swinging around in little circles as the dog ran around its owner? You notice the owner's feet in those black heeled shoes, walking, stepping up in the front and curling back under what appears to be a dress. So maybe a woman is out walking her dog, and the dog is wagging its tail, and the leash is swinging in time with the dog's feet. Here are some other by Giacomo Balla. Now, while the streetlight itself is not moving, see how Giacomo Balla used those repeated shapes, those little dashes of light and color, almost as if they're radiating out, coming out in a circular pattern away from that light. Even though the light is staying still, Giacomo Balla tried to capture the energy of that light. Can you tell what time it is in this picture? Is it daytime or nighttime? How do you know? Yeah, the moon is up there in the corner, so we can tell that this light is shining brightly on an otherwise dark evening. Now, some other artists who use these techniques are a Russian artist whose name was Natalia Goncharova, and we see her painting on the left of a cyclist, a man riding a bicycle. Notice how the wheels of the bicycle, that circular lines are kind of repeated on the outside edges of those wheels, and how the man's legs seem to be repeated over and over as he pedals the bike forward. Even his back appears to be going up and down as he works. Looks like really, really hard to pedal that bike. Now, next to that is a sculpture. Now, this sculpture seems to be flowing and moving. It doesn't look quite like a real person, but we definitely get the impression of a person walking. Kind of looks like the wind is blowing or that person's walking through some water. That sculpture is called Unique Forms of Continuity in Space, and it's by an artist whose name is Umberto Baccioni. Now, that sculpture is made of metal, but it still has that essence of movement. It kind of looks like he's walking and moving. That man on the bicycle seems to really be struggling to get through that bumpy street. So, things to think about before we create our futuristic art. What are some things that move quickly that you could draw using these techniques? Are you thinking about the parts of an animal, maybe moving quickly while it runs or flies or swims? Could it be a person doing something with their arms or their legs, maybe exercising or dancing or riding a bike or playing a sport? Which parts of those things would seem to be moving and what would need to be drawn repeatedly? If I was dribbling a basketball in my picture, would my head have to be moving up and down repeatedly or just my hand? Would my feet be moving or would I be standing still? And then lastly, what other marks can you make to show movement? Think of those curved lines on the outside of the bicycle wheels we just saw. Maybe those and some straight lines showing direction and movement can really make the figures or the animals or even vehicles in your picture look like they're moving around. So go ahead and look for some paper, grab a pencil. If you need to, pause this video for a moment because now it's time to draw. And I'm going to show you how we can use these techniques to draw a picture, a still picture on a piece of paper that looks like something moving very, very quickly. All right, so now that we've learned a little bit about the futurists, let's use some of those techniques that we talked about repeating things that are moving over and over and over again to make them look like they're moving really fast. And to do that today, I'm just going to use a piece of paper and a pencil. Now, when I think of something moving fast, I think about one of my favorite comic book characters, the Flash. So I'm going to draw a picture of the Flash moving very, very quickly. And if I want him to look like he's running really, really fast, it's got to be his arms and his legs moving. Now, one of the things that's cool about the futurists is when something is moving really quickly, it actually does look like there's lots and lots of those things there. Now, on my right hand, I have 5 fingers, but if I move my hand quickly back and forth, and this is something you can try at home, see how it looks like I have more than 5 fingers. When I move my hand really quickly like this, it almost looks like my fingers are repeated over and over and over again. And that's the look that we're trying to achieve. And that's what Giacomo Balla did with the legs of that dog and his little tail wagging back and forth and that chain swinging in a circle. You can almost see it repeating. Even though I only have 1 finger, it looks like more than one right now. So when I start to draw my Flash picture, I'm going to think about anytime I draw a figure, drawing the simple shapes. Those of you who are from my art class can think of our friend Wooden Steve, the mannequin, and those simple shapes that he's made of. He has kind of an oval-shaped head, 2 lines for a neck, and then kind of a rectangle-shaped body. Now I want the Flash to be bent over a little bit because he's going to be running pretty quickly. And then I'm going to very lightly draw in some shapes for his arms. Now I'm not going to put in any details yet. I just want to get the general shapes of my character in. So I'm going to have 1 leg coming forward, 1 arm coming forward. Usually if you run, your forward arm is the same as the opposite leg that's coming out. And I can have his leg coming pretty straight out with his foot up like this to make it look like he's running. And then his back leg coming back like this, and the bottom part of the leg folded up, maybe his little toe pointed. So that looks like a person running, but I want him to look like the Flash. So I'm going to very quickly just add in some details. He has these little earpieces with lightning bolts. He has a mask that allows his mouth and his eyes to peek through. I'll draw a pretty simple version here. And he has a lightning bolt emblem on his chest. Now feel free to draw the Flash along with me, or if you want to draw something else, maybe someone you know running, or you could draw a dog running, an animal like a cheetah is a really fast animal. It could be a fish swimming and maybe its tail is wagging. It could be the blades of a helicopter spinning around in a circle. Maybe you're a big fan of the Ninja Turtles and you want to draw Michelangelo swinging his nunchucks in a circle. Whatever it is you choose to draw, just think of something that moves quickly. It could be the wings of an insect or the wings of a bird. It could be the toes of a penguin wiggling while it swims through the water. So I'm just going to darken in these lines. I'm going to try to get the details of Flash's costume in. He wears boots. Give him a little heel here. Now, while I'm drawing this, I'm thinking about where his legs are and where his arms are right now, but also where they might be after he takes his next step. Like, where are those legs and arms going to be moving to? Because I'm going to repeat the arms and the legs in that same direction to make it look like he's moving really, really quickly. So, I forgot his little
lightning bolts on his arms here. So I'm going to start with this one arm here. Now, if I were running, my arm would be going back and forth, up and down. So I'm very lightly this time just going to repeat the shape of his arm a little bit. Now, I'm not going to do it as detailed. I'm not going to do it as dark, but I would imagine maybe his arm bending a little closer to his face before it starts to bend outward and then down. And I'm just drawing that same hand shape, kind of bending down and the fingers sticking out. I don't even have to draw the whole thing. And see how that arm looks like it's kind of moving quickly now. And if I want to further that illusion, if I want to make it look even more like it's moving, I can draw little curved lines going through those hands, even little curved lines at the top and the bottom. And it makes it look like that arm is moving quickly and kind of blurring with the speed that he's running at. His eyes are bugging me a little bit. I'm just going to fix those. He looks sleepy now. There we go. He's much happier about it. So now I'm going to do the same with his other arm. I'm just going to lightly draw that same hand shape, just coming back a little bit. And again, it doesn't have to be as detailed. It doesn't have to be as dark. I don't even have to draw all of it all the way. But I do want to draw those little lines kind of shifting through it, making it look like his arms are blurring as he's running quickly. Then I'm going to do the same thing with his leg. Maybe this leg could come up just a little more. And then I'm going to repeat that shape, almost like his leg is bending downward as he's running, just like the legs of that dog bent and repeated over and over and over. And then I can draw those motion lines through it to make it look like his leg is blurring. And then I would imagine this back leg would also start to come forward and maybe even start to bump out a little bit on this side. And now the Flash looks like he's moving pretty quickly. Now, there are some other things I can do to make him look like he's moving even faster. First, I could draw a setting. I'm going to draw that horizon line, that line kind of showing where the ground is and where the sky would be. And then I can draw maybe some motion lines behind the Flash, just straight lines showing the direction he's moving in. Now, if he was really running this fast, he might be tearing up the ground a little bit, maybe even leaving some clouds and some dust behind him. I think that might help with that illusion, kind of make it look like he's moving really quickly. If I wanted to have some things that he was running past in the background, maybe there are some trees kind of bending and swaying with the wind as he runs by them. And if I lean them in this direction, it almost looks like he's running into the wind. There's kind of like palm trees. I'm drawing them very lightly. I imagine they'd be blurry as the Flash runs past them at thousands of miles per hour. Maybe there's little houses back here. And that's one way that I could use the ideas of futurism to make something look like it's moving really, really quickly. But like I said, you don't have to draw the Flash. You could draw anything you'd like. Here's some really quick things you could do. My second graders have been learning about how to draw insects. They have 3 body parts, a head, a thorax, and an abdomen. But I could use these same futurist techniques. Instead of just drawing 2 wings on my bee here, I could repeat that wing shape lightly over and over and over and make it look like that bee is flying. Or I think I gave the example of a Ninja Turtle a little while ago. Michelangelo is one of my favorite Ninja Turtles. And I could draw him kind of quickly here. And he could be spinning his nunchucks in the air above his head. Safety first. But instead of just drawing that one piece of wood on the end of that string, I could repeat it in a circular motion, kind of like the blades of a helicopter. And now it looks like it's spinning around and around and around and around. I could do the same thing if I wanted to draw someone jumping rope. I would start with a part of my picture that's not moving, because that part's going to stay pretty much the same. So if I wanted to have maybe a Henry Johnson scholar jumping rope, her arms probably wouldn't be moving a whole lot. When you jump rope, just a single rope, your arms pretty much stay still. And I could draw the rope once, and maybe her legs are just up in the air a little bit, a little hop, but then repeating that jump rope shape over and over and over and over. it looks like she's spinning that jump rope all the way around her body. And it gives it a little bit more motion and a little bit more life, like she's in movement even though she's not moving at all. So here's what I'd like you to do. Think of something that moves quickly, something that spins or goes back and forth. Draw a picture of that using these futuristic techniques, using the drawing style of the futurists. Snap a picture of that, send it back to me on Class Dojo, either using your portfolio or you can directly message me. And I look forward to seeing your drawings later on through the week. Don't forget to check the Henry Johnson Charter School YouTube page. I'll be putting up a how to draw video every day this week. See you next time. Everyone stay safe out there. Don't forget to wash your hands. And Henry Johnson Scholars, I miss you, and I'll see you soon. Bye-bye.